We are going live, and it says we are live.
Hi, welcome to the StockinetteZombies. I'm Amy, also known as Janetma.
And I'm Megan, also known as Just Run It. Hi. This is episode 320.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we've got some tips and tricks slash, I think it's just the catch-all episode.
Yes, really.
And I decided to say hi in there because I'm like, I never say hi. That's very rude. And I'm like, and I'm Megan. Oh, by the way, but hi as well. Sorry, I'm feeling punchy today. I'm like, woo, today is a big day. I start my new job. We've got a lot going on with ZK. My husband decided to go out of town and do some camp biking thing at the last minute. So I'm like trying to juggle kids and life. And it's a good time. But apparently I get punchy when that happens. And it's so blasted hot.
Yes.
I thought we were going to have like 2 days of like, oh, it'll be warm, right? But no, it's like until next Monday. Maybe some of the ZKers will bring some cooler weather with them.
I hope so. It's been super hot.
It has
been. A tip that I learned this weekend on my adventure was that AstroTurf is hot. Hot. I have like a little burn on my knees.
Oh no.
Not too bad. Not too bad. We had protection. There were layers there, but the AstroTurf was like over 146 degrees, like on the surface. Yes.
And is that because it's like plastic and plastic retains the heat? Okay.
And then
I'm just trying to think of the thermodynamics. You know the thermodynamics of AstroTurf, right, Amy?
But there's also little black rubber beads in there as well, if you aren't familiar with AstroTurf. And those things can absorb a lot of heat as well. Yeah, it was hot. So my tip that I learned this weekend is liquid IV is really a good thing. Like I know it's similar to Gatorade, but it's in little pouches, so you can pour it into any water. So you can kind of keep it with you when you feel less than great, like depleted of your nutrients out in a hot day. And then the other thing was wet towels that have been soaked in ice water. So we actually had them, they were designed for the purpose. So they're really long, so they go around your neck, but any towel will do. And we used that trick on Monday when my daughter went to soccer practice in the heat. So I thought I'd
we showed up to soccer practice yesterday. And there's a little bit of overlap with a girls team, and they had canceled. So they didn't like send out any pre-notice, but we got there and they were just like shooing people away, right? Like, it's too warm for the kids with the humidity, because it had been in the 90s, but then yesterday a humid front kind of moved in, I feel like, and then the heat index went way up. So
yesterday the girls, Lucy didn't go because it was kind of optional. They had a just a water fight. So there was no real practice yesterday.
Optional water fight. Yeah. We've got Nikki in California telling me that it's 70s.
Oh,
thanks, Nikki. That's like my perfect weather.
That sounds beautiful.
Courtney says it's hitting 110 in Arizona. That makes me feel a little better. But yeah, no, a lot of hellos out in the chat, and I want to say hello back.
I apologize for my copious Teams beings here.
I know. I keep on looking over at my computer. I'm like, I know that I muted it so that you wouldn't hear people in Teams messaging me. Is it a big emergency?
Yes, but I have no input that will help. So I know that while I could be reading them so that I stay focused on this hot issue, that's all back and forth between people that have the tasks to do. The action items.
Just wanted to say hello to the folks that had said hello. We've got Silver and Heather and Claire, Teresa. They're talking about some nice warm weather knits, which makes sense to me. Nikki and Courtney and Susan and Valerie. So yeah, no, Yeah. Every once in a while you got to throw those in there because it's really nice to have people join us live because then we kind of get that feedback
Yes.
feedback loop. It's like a live studio audience.
I'm gonna
But yeah,
wheel
my
myself
tip or
in.
trick this week really is kind of following up on what I talked about last week, which was that I'm really enjoying. I've got a bunch that need their ends woven in, but I've got a big stack of scraps and I'm making Tunisian crochet squares. So haven't decided whether or not I'm going to join these perfectly or, just square to square, or I'm going to put kind of like an edging around it. Um, but was chatting about it in last week's VKN and folks were like, yeah, you could put a trimming, like, so then it would look like a quilt almost, right? So if I picked up and did like a solid color around all of them and joined with that, but I'm just really enjoying grabbing random colors out of my pile. I think these are more recent ones that I think that I love to go together. And it's a really nice, like not big in your lap project. It's just like grab a small amount. I'm doing a green on green one now that's making me happy. But yeah, this is about as big as it gets, right? So this is a third of it because there's 9 squares, and then I add another third, and it's 3 squares, and it's a 2/3 done. I guess I've got these ones that I still need to weaving in the ends. So there's 10 ends per square. Don't ever do the math, A.
Too much.
And B, it's better if you don't start the next square before you make yourself do the ends before you start the next square.
I know that with my blanket, that would be a good tip. Yeah, the mitered square blanket. Like I have spent evenings just working on the ends, and then I get caught up, and then I forget that I had to spend an evening working on ends.
Yeah, I mean, there is something satisfying about having like that whole pile of ends, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh, I just did all of that. But yeah, I haven't even thought about. Here's another one that's.
I was gonna say I started a little vase of ends.
Yeah, no, I have a gnome guts bowl.
Oh, gnome guts.
Yeah, gnome guts. You need to put a little sign on there that's for future gnome stuffing.
Okay.
I even throw like when I'm caking up yarn.
Oh, okay. The little thread.
Everything.
Yeah, that's
everything
what that
goes
is too. Yeah.
Yeah, or I guess it could be like a future nest.
Oh yeah.
Well. Bird nesting. So yeah, I've got 5 here, so 50 ends that I need to do.
You did the math.
Did never do the math. That was my hint. Never do the math. But yeah, no, there's just something really satisfying about it. I know I was excited about it this week. I'm even more excited about it or last week, and now I'm even more excited about it this week because class signups, which we'll get there. So I'm excited to be teaching a little bit about how to make these, and also just like it's really, I guess it didn't register with me how much like scrappy leftover yarn guilt I had.
Oh, okay.
But now that I'm using it, I'm like, oh, that's right. I loved this pink, right?
Yes.
And now I'm using it with something else, and it's not just like because I feel like if I have closer to like the 50-gram mark left over, like 30 to 50, I can use that in a 2-color sock, and I'm pretty good. But it's like the less than that I've kept around because it's still a substantial amount of yarn, like it's like a 20-gram mini skein, right? Or a 10-gram mini skein. And each one of these blocks takes about it's somewhere between 2 to 3 grams, right?
Okay.
So to be able to do the block where you've got the five, you have to have that 20, but it's eking it on the 10 with the 4, right? So it just feels like a good use of odds and ends. And then I don't have to feel so guilty about I just have like a, human size bag of all of these, like, oh, I remember when I knit that top and I have, 20 to 30 grams left over. So it's like a ding ding. It's an extra little, and they're just so fast too, right? Like I know you've said that with your little stuffies. It's like knock one out in a night and you feel like you've accomplished something.
Yeah, making me
So,
want to make some more stuffies, like the little monkeys from that
mhm,
50 Yards of Fun. That's a
mhm,
really good book for that.
mhm. Yep, yep.
But my other little tip, and again, it's probably one that I've shared before, but I bought this a long time, well, a couple years ago on
Mhm,
Amazon with all the little interlocking stitch marker um, things. And I don't know how many times, you lose these dang things, and it's just nice to have so many that you're not
mhm.
even worried about um, running out. So yesterday I pulled it out to add to something I was working on, even though I knew that I had a pile that weren't in the container. I was like, that's all the way upstairs.
Yeah.
I'm
I
gonna.
grabbed a whole bunch of like potential odds and ends for my thing and put it in my popcorn bag. And
Oh
I've
yeah,
got just it's
there you
just
go.
attached on there.
That's another
So
tip. Look at
if
that.
you if I need a stitch marker stats, I've just got, inside. And it was all, I didn't even have to do it, right? It just was like I picked up the bag and there was my stitch markers in case I needed them.
Excellent. Yep.
Hmm.
So then I guess I don't have anything else if you wanted to move on to the exciting email that went out for ZK.
I did. Well, I mean, we went and visited the Muse
Oh, yes, yes,
2320.
yes.
And so this is kind of a tip or trick. I guess it kind of leads into what we're talking about with ZK as well, but definitely check them out. She was just fantastic and I loved all of her different colorways, but these came home with me. And she's a recent addition to our market. So tip or trick, make sure you check her out. If you're ever in Hastings, Minnesota, it has a cute little store there that
Sort
Amy
of
and I
on the
both,
way from Minneapolis to Rochester.
yep. But then she'll also be in the ZK market. I think you picked up this is Garth, this orange several times. And I was like, ooh, I like that. And then this one is just kind of a luck of the dye pot that had
Mm,
some of the other component colors. And this one is spiral gray. So I don't know what it's going to be. I think when I picked it up, I was like, well, it could be something color work, right? Because I think you'll have enough contrast with all three of these.
hmm
Um, but super love it, super liked their bases and her color sense. And she had some really great music pumping while we were in the shop too.
Yes, I think it was The Current, our
Mhm.
local public radio station. So,
Yeah, yeah. So definitely check out the list of vendors. And I wanted to get this shout out mentioned because the next time that we do an enabling or a favorite things,
right.
I'm sure I'll have lots of ZK purchases, some of which may be from this Muse 2320. Um, but super fun. Love to support my Minnesota dyers.
Yeah, her name is Sarah,
Hmm.
and she had a bunch of our very own Imagine Landscape Sarah,
Hmm.
her kits at her shop as well.
For gnomes,
So,
yeah, gnome
yeah, for
making.
gnomes. Yeah,
Hmm.
really cute. But with that, I sent out an email to all of our in-person retreat goers. There were several things in there that were to-dos. So if you want a special badge, we have in the past used your Ravatar and put that picture on the bag kind of sneakily, went out and data mined and got those pictures. But having Ravelry not be our primary source, we have quite a few people who aren't on Ravelry anymore. So we decided to change the process this year. There's a Google form, and you will upload the picture
Hmm.
straight into the form. And I want to say that, a little bit onto the favorite things is that the folder that's collecting all of those faces is my favorite thing this week. I could just go to that folder and see all the people and go, I'm going to see these people in a few weeks.
Yay. Yes, and that form also has the addition of we'd actually talked
Oh,
through it
yes.
with our the hotel organizer as well. And then I think we had the suggestion out in the ZK thread. So it was kind of a great minds think alike, but kind of your hugging status.
Yep.
So red being like, hey, wave at me from afar, yellow being like fist bumps are okay, and green being like, hug me.
Okay. I took yellow as also ask. you know,
Okay.
because your comfort level might change. So yellow's like, proceed with caution. You ask me, and then maybe we can hug or fist bump.
So yeah, no, definitely get those filled out. Again, if you don't get that form filled out, we will have, we'll still check you in with your name and whatever and ensure that you're registered, but you won't have a pre-made badge for you. You'll just have to write your name on a blank piece of paper to put into your badge holder. So trying to give ourselves a little bit of time to do that. So there's the deadline in the email as well.
Yep. And then next up is classes. I submitted a class list that's out on the website. All the classes signups will be on Discord. So if you're not on Discord, go ahead and sign up and look at that before 6 o'clock tonight.
Absolutely. I mean, orientating yourself may take a little bit more time. Orientating. But the sign up process should be really fast.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. So there's categories and channels. So there's category that is ZK 2021. That main category has things like excitement and so places for you to chat. But then there's also going to be, starting tonight at 6, the classes threads, and those hashtags are in that, the channel names are in that form, so on the website. So if you're like, oh, this is the class I want, there should be a hashtag there that you can see. That's what you need to look for in the Discord to sign up for your class.
Yep. And each one of those will have the details about what the class is and the class limit, right? So we'll probably go through and put numbers in front of people's names as we are able, so that you'll know whether or not you're actually enrolled or not. But those are dictated by the well, we're calling them classes, but the organizer's preference, and then also the room limitations.
Yep.
So can't just be a free for all. That's why we have the sign up. And yeah, that'll be exciting. I'm excited to see all of the folks. And again, you have to sign up for yourself. You can't sign up for others as we have in the past. It's similar to the Ravelry sign up process. It's just on this different platform.
Yep. And then we already talked about the vendors. In there was a little change, or there have been changes. People's situations have changed, and we've filled in with some other vendors like Muse 2320. So the market is just as full as it has always been, or has been set up for this year. So don't worry, it's not like it's gone down, but there has been some changes. So to see the latest, go out to the website. Hopefully there aren't any more changes.
Here's hoping. But
crossing my fingers, because that means something bad happened to somebody, right? You know, like we want them to be healthy and happy and ready to bend.
Yep.
And then Megan was talking to me earlier. We have a movie night this weekend.
Yep. We're watching Speed, which has planes, trains, and automobiles, which is our theme. And we've invited the ZKers to join us on Friday night at 7 p.m. So whether you're a ZKer or a ZKNer, or maybe you got it twice, make sure to join us. I think that's a fan favorite. I know that there are some people that are really excited to watch Speed together. So,
yep. And then I think there was details on the 5K. It's still happening.
Absolutely. We're doing kind of a hybrid model. We had record participation last year at home. And so I wanted to continue to encourage people to be active. You can be active the whole time, but the focus will be on that Friday. You can do it throughout the day and then receive your patch as they are, while supplies last. Let's just put it that way. We don't have a Friday night really announcement opportunity. So Saturday after the closing ceremonies, you can come up and say, you know, I didn't get my patch and I did my 5K, or you can sign up and submit a time prediction for the actual like in person at 9 o'clock. If that motivates you, having something to show up to
Yep.
and get a time and see what your prediction is. The person that wins is the person that's closest to their actual time, not the person that runs it the fastest. And so we'll have kind of our normal event plus the participate at your leisure opportunity as well, to encourage people to be active.
Yep. Not to mention sad things. There won't be a Friday excursion this year. Checking into that, trying to get that set up starting in April. What do I want to say? The conditions were such that it would have had to been such a small amount of people going on the excursion that I felt like this was probably not a good year to be able to do it. Like, limiting it to 15 people just didn't seem right. Normally it's around 50 people. So
yeah, and cost prohibitive, right? Any sort of transportation is spread over the number of people. Don't know how much, how many people you could pack on a bus then, right? As things have kind of opened up now, in hindsight, you're like, oh, well, we may have been okay, but yeah. Yep.
Would have had to have confirmed with all the spaces that the number of people was okay. And again, when I started, it was only 15.
Yep.
Like now they might say 50, but I can't go back in time. So
really?
I can't. I'm sorry.
I often say that at work. I'm like, I don't have a time machine. And if I did, I probably wouldn't use it to correct this. I'd go do something else with it.
Yep. And then a tip that kind of came from our Discord forums was set your clock or set your phone with an alarm for anything that you like, class signups or
yep. You could add it to your calendar so it reminds you.
Yeah.
Valerie says she can hear me singing, "If I could turn back time."
Yes.
And it was in my head, but I wasn't gonna sing. Valerie, thank you. She's like, if I poke her, she'll sing. Yeah, no, so many exciting things. I'm so excited for the folks that are going to be heading to Rochester in short order. I'm so excited about some upcoming things that we have going on, plans in the books for ZKN as well. So the community is, it's exciting to think about actually seeing people in person again, like not just at ZK, but just in general, right? Amy, are you frozen?
Okay. Oh, my internet connection is unstable. Okay. Well, hopefully I'm not frozen too.
Well, you were just smiling at me blankly, which was a good face to be frozen on.
Okay. Sounds good.
Yes. Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye, Uvta.